Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Hello, everyone, and happy Monday, late Monday to you.
Happy late Monday. I am sorry this is late in coming. I was away this weekend at a cousin's wedding. It also has something to do with the fact that I sound like I'm either going through puberty or
You
dead.
sound like death warmed over, Andy Roth.
And I am bootless, so I cannot hydrate.
I have two water bottles, one for each of us.
This does me no good, and you're a jerk. However,
I'm gonna pour it out for you.
I hate
Here.
you, and we have
Okay.
5 minutes. So,
Okay, go.
it's time
Go.
for another 5 Minute Monday, which we will not make, but hope springs eternal. In honor of my weekend this weekend, where I was at a family wedding, and in honor, Phil doesn't know this, in honor of the fact that a previous family wedding that I was unable to attend was in Vegas, and my cousin and her husband were married by Michael Jackson. Zang.
Back from the dead and performing weddings.
Back from the dead and performing weddings.
Well, at least they take the sacrament of marriage seriously. That's clear.
You know what? They are awesome, and I will have no bad words spoken
I
about
don't
them.
doubt it. I don't doubt it.
We're going to discuss today, in the basically 3.5 minutes we have left, our favorite wedding scenes in movies. Wedding scenes in
Right.
movies.
Yes.
Phil, go.
I mean, my first. Okay. To me, the ultimate, no matter what, is Princess Bride.
Ah!
It has to be the Princess Bride. I want so badly when I do weddings. You know, it's one of the things that I get to do, and I would
That's
love
true.
just so badly, just once, to start a wedding by going marriage. But I can't, like, I think I'd lose them right there, and I'd never get them back. You know what I mean? It's like you lose your audience and you never get them back.
There's no coming back from that, yeah.
And they, no matter what happens, I'd love to do that so badly. But everything, I mean, there's so many lines in that. If any service, any religious service you go to is boring, you go skip to the end. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many moments in that, and it's got the classic someone's trying to break up the wedding, and because there's a certain wedding trope. There's a certain wedding motif, which is that if you see a wedding in a movie, something bad is going to happen to the
Yeah.
wedding. And
Right.
Princess Bride is kind of amazing because it uses our expectation that the wedding will be broken up, and then the wedding doesn't get broken up.
Yes, that's true.
They actually get married.
That's true.
It's pretty amazing.
That's true.
So yes, that's my choice. Although I would also give honorable mention to the beginning of Old School, where Vince Vaughn is trying to talk Will Ferrell out of getting married. Look at my wife over there. Look at her. She's just looking at me. Silently judging me. She's just silently judging me. Judging. Smile. Wave at the baby. And as the bride is walking down the aisle, he's like, still got 100 yards to freedom. You could fail still. You don't have to do this.
Nice.
Love it. Love that.
Well, I mean, you took my answer, because my answer is clearly The Princess Bride. It just is. So,
Yeah.
I will take our viewers, Phil, on a trip down memory lane. For the two of us,
La.
we were in a show together in college. A funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, which
Jeez.
is just a marvelous musical. It's amazing. And a movie was made out of it, which is good. It is mostly good, partially bad. It's good because Zira Mostel is always good in everything, and Jack Gilford, and everyone is good in it. And there is a wedding scene, actually, it is a death scene where the dead person is a dead bride, and they try to sort of like marry the woman as she's dead, and like they'll consummate it, because they can't consummate it really because she's dead, by cutting out her heart, except that instead of
What a great comedy.
right, instead of well, here's where the comedy comes in. Instead of being a dead woman, it's an alive man who is pretending to be the dead woman, and it's true. It's a funeral, not a wedding, but they're basically the same thing. Am I right? And it is one of the funniest. It is one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen involving someone wearing a wedding dress. It happens to be a live man pretending to be a dead woman, but alongside Princess Bride, when I think wedding dress in a movie, I think Jack Gilford as Hysterium in the movie of A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Weddings, weddings and funerals are basically the same, and the funny thing is, funerals are actually in many ways easier.
Okay.
Because you can focus. Okay, in weddings and in funerals, there's a huge chunk of people that are totally miserable. Okay? But in funerals, everybody knows why they're miserable. There's a dead person. And they can focus their anger and their sadness and their grieving and all of it on and sorrow on the body or the picture or the feeling of, and even if all other sorts of other stuff comes up, which it always does because that's how people are, they focus on that. Weddings, they have all this anxiety and probably jealousy and anger and pettiness and all sorts of stuff that's built up and like self-loathing and weird insecurities, except there's no place to put it because they're supposed to be joyful. And so instead, you've got this weird energy that's like, we're happy, we're having fun. It's like Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation when he's like, we're gonna have the happiest Christmas. You know what I mean? Like that's how it that's the feeling of something. We're gonna have a good time at this wedding. In the '80s when Chevy Chase was a human being, they should have done a wedding vacation, and it would have been stellar. It would have been stellar. Because there's so much energy there. I mean, obviously, we got to give shouts out to... No, you know what? I'm not going to give a shout out to that movie. Forget that movie. But I'm glad you brought up a funny thing happened in the forum. The wedding scene in... the various wedding scenes, I know this is obvious, but the various wedding scenes in Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers is just a fantastic, wonderfully hilarious movie.
Yes.
I love Todd Phillips, and Wedding Crashers is just killer. He did Wedding Crashers, right? Or did I make that up?
I think
so.
Did
Todd Phillips, the guy who did Old School and Hangover?
And it also might seem obvious, but the weddings in Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah.
I mean, that really has.
I haven't seen that in a while, man. I haven't seen that in a long while.
But I mean, there's no way we can repeat the one word that is the first scene of the movie.
No,
but
over and over again.
But everyone's been late to a wedding. Everyone's been sitting there when like the worst wedding speech of all time is happening, which is in every wedding movie, right?
Yeah.
But I think Four Weddings and a Funeral does it particularly well.
It's a good movie.
Simon Callow, it's Bloody Brigadoon. It's just it's great.
When was the last time you saw that movie?
Oh God, it's been a decade maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember a thing about it. I remember liking it, and that's about all I got.
Yeah, I do remember Kristen Scott Thomas calling the woman that Hugh Grant gets married to Duckface, and still not forgiving him for walking out on her in the wedding.
Right.
Yeah. So that's good.
I'm trying to think of other good wedding scenes now. I mean, Princess Bride is the one of our generation.
Oh,
it's the best.
Absolutely.
So. All right. Well, I think that's our 5-Minute Monday.
I think it is. Guys,
which ones did we forget? Put them in the comment section.
Shoot us a comment on the YouTube video. Hit us up on Facebook. Listen to us on iTunes, audio only. And we'll see you tomorrow for 10 Minute Tuesday. This is Second Breakfast Podcast. I'm Andy Roth. That's Phil Duvall. We'll see you again real soon.
Have fun storming the castle.
Bye-bye.